The starship Nebula Voyager hung in the inky void of space, its sleek hull gleaming under the light of unfamiliar stars. On the bridge, Captain Samira Puddle stood with hands clasped behind her back, dark eyes fixed on the main view screen. After 5 years of faster-than-light travel, humanity's first interstellar expedition had finally reached its destination, the source of a mysterious signal that had captivated Earth's scientific community for decades. Status report, Samira commanded, her voice steady despite the nervous energy thrumming through her veins. All systems nominal, Captain, replied her first officer, Commander Chen Wei. We're holding position at the coordinates of the signal's origin. Dr. Aisha Okafor, the ship's lead xenolinguist, looked up from her console. Captain, I'm detecting a transmission on multiple frequencies. It's a language unlike anything we've encountered before. Samira nodded, a mix of excitement and apprehension coursing through her. This is it, people. First contact. Let's make humanity proud. As if on cue, a massive ship shimmered into existence before them. Its crystalline structure dwarfed the Nebula Voyager, making Earth's pride and joy look like a mere toy in comparison. The bridge crew gasped collectively, awe and fear mingling in equal measure. A melodic voice filled the bridge, speaking in perfect English. Greetings, beings of Earth. We are the Galactic Concordat. We've been expecting you. Samira stepped forward, her voice unwavering. This is Captain Samira Patil of the Earth ship Nebula Voyager. We come in peace and friendship. A chuckle, both musical and condescending, echoed through the speakers. Peace and friendship. How quaint. Tell us, Captain Patel, how long did it take your species to achieve faster-than-light travel? Caught off guard by the question, Samira hesitated before answering. We achieved FTL capabilities just 7 years ago. Another laugh, this time joined by multiple voices. 7 years. Oh, you poor primitive creatures. We mastered faster-than-light travel millennia ago. Your technology must seem so advanced to you. The mocking tone sent a chill down Samira's spine. This wasn't the warm welcome they had hoped for. We may be new to interstellar travel, she replied, keeping her voice level, but we have much to offer. We seek to learn and grow. Learn and grow, interrupted the alien voice. Perhaps you can learn to be our pets. That might be all you're good for. Anger flashed across the faces of the Nebula Voyager's crew. Dr. Okafor stepped forward, her scientific curiosity overriding her indignation. We've made great strides in various fields of science. Surely there must be areas where we can contribute. Contribute. The alien's tone dripped with disdain. Your science is like a child's finger painting compared to our masterpieces. But please, do continue to amuse us with your primitive notions. As the humiliation continued, Samira noticed her communications officer, Lieutenant Zara Hines, discreetly tapping at her console. Zara caught the captain's eye and gave a subtle nod. She had managed to record and analyze the alien transmission, gathering valuable data even as they endured the mockery. For the next hour, the Galactic Concordat continued to belittle humanity's achievements, dismissing their art, culture, and technology as insignificant. With each passing moment, Samira's determination grew. She would prove them wrong, show them that humanity was more than they assumed. As the encounter drew to a close, the Concordat spokesperson's voice took on a patronizing tone. We will allow your species limited access to some of our less advanced outposts. Perhaps in a few thousand years, you might evolve enough to be of some use to us. Samira's jaw clenched, but she maintained her diplomatic composure. We appreciate your generosity. Rest assured, we will make the most of this opportunity. As the communication ended and the alien ship disappeared in a flash of light, a heavy silence fell over the Nebula Voyager's bridge. The crew looked to their captain, a mix of anger, shame, and determination in their eyes. Samira took a deep breath, then addressed her team. I know that wasn't what we expected, but remember this moment. Remember how they laughed at us, how they dismissed us. Because one day, we'll prove them wrong. She turned to Zora. Lieutenant Hines, what were you able to gather from their transmission? Zora's eyes lit up. A lot, Captain. Their technology is incredible, but there are patterns, frequencies we've never seen before. I think they're manipulating quantum fields in ways we've only theorized about. Dr. Okafor leaned in, intrigued. Quantum field manipulation, like in Dr. Abramson's theoretical work on in-dimensional physics. Zara nodded excitedly. Exactly like that. If we could understand this, replicate it, we could leapfrog centuries of technological development. Samira finished, a spark of hope igniting in her chest. Set a course for Earth, maximum speed. Then, addressing the entire crew, she continued, what happened here today doesn't leave this ship. As far as the world is concerned, we had a polite first contact. But we have work to do. As the Nebula Voyager turned back towards Earth, Samira's mind raced with possibilities. The Galactic Concordat had unwittingly given humanity a gift, the motivation to prove them wrong, and a glimpse of the technology that could make it possible. Little did the aliens know, back on Earth, a secret project was already underway. A project that would soon shake the foundations of the galaxy and force the Concordat to eat their words. In the depths of a hidden facility beneath the Atacama Desert, Dr. Elias Abramson stood before a shimmering portal, a smile playing on his lips. Soon, he whispered. Very, very soon. The race to redefine humanity's place in the cosmos had begun. The breakthrough. Dr. Elias Abramson's eyes burned with fatigue as he stared at the holographic display hovering before him. The shimmering portal behind him cast an eerie blue glow across the underground laboratory, a constant reminder of how close they were to a breakthrough, and how far they still had to go. Run the simulation again, he ordered, his voice hoarse from too many sleepless nights. Dr. Yuki Tanaka, his brilliant protege, nodded and input the commands. The hologram flickered, showing a dizzying array of quantum probability waves collapsing and reforming in impossible patterns. It's still not stable, Yuki said, frustration evident in her voice. We're missing something fundamental. Elias ran a hand through his salt and pepper hair. We're close, Yuki. I can feel it. The data from the Nebula Voyager. He was interrupted by the lab's security system. Dr. Abramson, Captain Patel has arrived. Elias straightened, smoothing down his rumpled lab coat. Send her in. Captain Samira Patel strode into the lab, her presence commanding even in civilian clothes. Her eyes widened as she took in the portal and the complex equipment surrounding it. Dr. Abramson, she greeted, I came as soon as I received your message. You said there's been a development. Elias nodded, gesturing to the holographic display. Captain, the data your team brought back has been invaluable. We've made significant progress in understanding how the Concordat manipulates quantum fields. But he trailed off, his excitement fading. But, Samira prompted. But we've hit a wall, Yuki finished for him. We can replicate some of their results on a quantum scale, but we can't stabilize the effect enough to create practical applications. Samira's brow furrowed. What do you need? Elias sighed. Time, resources, and frankly, a miracle. The Concordat's technology is so far beyond ours. No, Samira interrupted, her voice sharp. We can't think like that. They may be advanced, but they're not infallible. There has to be something we're missing. As if on cue, an alarm blared from one of the monitoring stations. Yuki rushed over, her fingers flying across the haptic interface. Dr. Abramson, we're detecting a massive quantum fluctuation in the portal. Elias and Samira hurried to join her. The portal's shimmer had intensified, its surface rippling like disturbed water. What's happening? Samira demanded. I'm not sure, Elias admitted. These readings are unlike anything we've seen before. It's as if the portal is trying to stabilize itself, but in a higher dimensional space than we've been working with. Yuki's eyes widened in realization. Dr. Abramson, What if we've been thinking too small? We've been trying to manipulate three-dimensional space, but what if the key is to work with higher dimensions? Elias stared at her, then at the fluctuating portal. Of course, he breathed. The Concordat isn't just manipulating quantum fields. They're accessing higher dimensions of reality itself. His fingers flew across the holographic interface, making rapid adjustments to their models. Yuki, reconfigure the quantum stabilizers. We need to expand our frame of reference beyond four-dimensional space-time. As they worked feverishly, Samira watched in awe. The portal's fluctuations grew more intense, the lab equipment groaning under the strain of forces it was never designed to contain. Elias, she said, a note of warning in her voice, are you sure this is safe? He didn't look up from his work. Honestly, no, but it's our best shot at understanding what the Concordat is doing, and surpassing it. Suddenly, the portal flared with blinding light. Samira shielded her eyes, feeling a wave of something wash over her. It was as if, for a brief moment, she could sense realities beyond her own, infinite possibilities stretching out in every direction. When the light faded, the portal had stabilized. But it was different now, deeper somehow, as if looking into it meant gazing into the very fabric of the universe itself. Elias stood before it, his face illuminated by its glow. We did it, he whispered. We've created a stable connection to higher dimensional space. Yuki was already analyzing the data pouring in from their sensors. Dr. Abramson, these readings, they're incredible. We're detecting quantum entanglement on a scale we've never seen before. And the energy output, it's off the charts. Samira stepped forward, her voice filled with awe and a touch of fear. What does this mean, exactly? Elias turned to her, his eyes shining with the light of discovery. It means, Captain, that we've unlocked the key to manipulating reality itself. Faster than light travel, unlimited energy, maybe even the ability to reshape matter at will. It's all theoretically possible now. And practically, Samira pressed. That's where the real work begins, Yuki said. We understand the principles now, but developing practical applications will take time. Elias nodded. Agreed. But we're no longer fumbling in the dark. We have a roadmap now, a way to catch up to, and perhaps even surpass, the Concordat's technology. Samira stared into the portal, her mind racing with the implications. How long? She asked. Elias and Yuki exchanged glances. To develop a working prototype that can demonstrate our new capabilities on a meaningful scale. Elias mused. With proper funding and resources, 2 years. Maybe less. Samira nodded, a fierce smile spreading across her face. You'll have whatever you need. Earth is counting on you. All of us are. As she turned to leave, already planning how to secure the necessary resources without alerting the wider world to their breakthrough, Elias called out to her. Captain Patel. She paused at the door, looking back. Elias gestured to the portal, his expression a mix of excitement and trepidation. What we've discovered here, it's going to change everything. The balance of power in the galaxy, our understanding of physics, nothing will be the same. Samira nodded, her expression grave. I know. And when the time comes to reveal what we've done, the Concordat and every other alien race out there will learn a valuable lesson. What's that? Yuki asked. Samira's eyes flashed with determination. Never underestimate humanity. As she left, Elias and Yuki turned back to their work, the portal humming with the promise of a new era for mankind. In labs and secret facilities around the world, other teams would soon join their efforts, all working towards a common goal, to propel humanity from the bottom of the galactic heap to its rightful place among the stars. The Concordat had laughed at them, dismissed them as primitive, but humanity would have the last laugh, and it would echo across the cosmos. Galactic Debut. The Zephyr, humanity's new flagship, glided silently through the void of space, its sleek hull gleaming with an otherworldly sheen. On the bridge, Admiral Samira Patel, formerly captain of the Nebula Voyager, stood tall, her eyes fixed on the viewscreen before her. The massive space station that served as the headquarters for the Galactic Concordat loomed ahead, its crystalline spires stretching out like frozen lightning. "Status report," Samira commanded, her voice steady despite the weight of anticipation. Commander Chenwei, now her first officer on this historic mission, responded crisply. "All systems nominal. Admiral, our special systems are fully operational and undetected." Samira nodded, a small smile playing at the corners of her mouth. "Excellent. Open a channel to the station." The view screen flickered, revealing the face of a Concordat official. His multifaceted eyes widened in surprise as he recognized the species addressing him. "This is impossible," the alien sputtered. "You shouldn't be capable of reaching this sector for centuries." Samira allowed herself a satisfied smile. "It seems you may have underestimated us, honored Concordat. We request permission to dock and meet with your leadership." As the Zephyr was guided into a docking bay, Samira could feel the weight of countless alien eyes upon them. Word of their arrival had spread quickly through the station, and crowds of diverse alien species gathered to catch a glimpse of the impossible humans. The diplomatic team, led by Dr. Aisha Okafor, now Earth's foremost expert in xenopolitics, disembarked to meet with the station's governor. As they walked through the sprawling corridors, Aisha couldn't help but marvel at the advanced technology surrounding them. Yet she reminded herself that they now carried within their ship the potential to rival even this. The meeting with Governor Jixubel was tense, filled with thinly veiled suspicion and disbelief. The Concordat leader struggled to reconcile the primitive humans he had dismissed mere years ago with the beings who now stood before him, having crossed vast distances of space with apparent ease. "Explain yourselves," Jixubel demanded, his iridescent scales shifting colors in agitation. "How did you achieve this level of technology so quickly?" Aisha stepped forward, her voice calm and measured. "Governor, since our last encounter, humanity has experienced a profound awakening. We've made significant strides in our understanding of the universe and our place in it." "Impossible," Jixubel scoffed. "No species advances that quickly. You must have stolen this technology, or—" His voice trailed off, mandibles clicking in agitation. "I assure you, Governor," Samira interjected, "our advancements are entirely our own. In fact, we've come to propose a technological exchange. We believe we have innovations that could benefit the entire galactic community." The room erupted in murmurs and clicks of disbelief. Jixubel's eyes narrowed. "And what, pray tell, could you possibly offer us?" Samira nodded to Dr. Elias Abramson, who had insisted on joining this historic mission. The scientist stepped forward, activating a small device on his wrist. In the center of the room, a holographic display sprang to life, showing complex multidimensional equations and schematics. "This," Elias said, his voice filled with quiet pride, "is the key to manipulating higher dimensions of space-time. We call it the Infinity Matrix." The alien scientists in the room crowded forward, their eyes wide as they took in the display. One of them, a spindly being with gossamer wings, spoke up. This is beyond anything we've achieved. If this is genuine, it could revolutionize every field of science and technology." Jixubel's color shifted rapidly, a sign of intense emotion. "You expect us to believe that you, a species we encountered mere years ago, struggling with basic faster-than-light travel, have suddenly mastered the manipulation of higher dimensions?" Samira stepped forward, her voice firm. "We don't expect you to believe, Governor. We're prepared to demonstrate." With a nod from Samira, Elias tapped his wrist device again. Outside the station's viewports, the Zephyr began to glow with an otherworldly light. Then, to the astonishment of everyone watching, it simply vanished. Alarms blared throughout the station as sensors went haywire. "What have you done?" Jixubel demanded, panic edging into his voice. Before Samira could respond, the Zephyr reappeared, inside the station's massive central atrium, a feat that should have been impossible given the ship's size and the lack of any entry large enough to accommodate it. "We've done what you thought impossible," Samira said, unable to keep a note of pride from her voice. "We've learned to step between dimensions, to rewrite the very laws of physics as you understand them." The room fell silent, the implications of what they'd just witnessed sinking in. Then chaos erupted as questions flew from all directions. The alien scientists clamored for more information, while diplomatic representatives hurriedly conferred with their homeworlds. In the midst of the frenzy, Zixel approached Samira, his earlier arrogance replaced by a mix of fear and grudging respect. "Admiral Patel," he said, his voice low, "you must understand the position you've put us in. This technology, in the wrong hands, it could destabilize the entire galaxy." Samira nodded gravely. "We're well aware of the risks, Governor. That's why we've come to you first. Humanity doesn't seek dominance or revenge for past slights. We want to be partners, equals in the galactic community." Zixel studied her for a long moment, then nodded slowly. Perhaps we judged your species too hastily. This will require much discussion, but I believe the Concordat would be open to a new era of cooperation with Earth. As news of humanity's breakthrough spread across the galaxy, the repercussions were immense. Some alien races reacted with fear, others with excitement. Trade negotiations were hastily revised, diplomatic relations reshuffled. Earth, once an insignificant backwater, suddenly found itself at the center of galactic politics. Back on the Zephyr, as they prepared to return home, Samira stood at the view screen, watching the bustle of activity around the station. Dr. Okafor joined her, a datapad in hand. "Well, Admiral," Aisha said with a smile, "I'd say our galactic debut was a success. We've received invitations from 17 different alien governments for diplomatic talks, and the scientific community is in an uproar." Samira nodded, her expression thoughtful. "It's a good start. But this is just the beginning. We've changed the balance of power in the galaxy overnight. There will be those who see us as a threat, and those who see us as an opportunity," Aisha countered. "We're in a position to shape the future of galactic civilization." As if to underscore her words, a priority message flashed on the ship's communications panel. Samira's eyes widened as she read it. "It seems the universe has a sense of irony," she mused. "We've just received a distress call from a Concordat colony on the edge of known space. They're facing some kind of cosmic anomaly that their technology can't handle." Aisha raised an eyebrow. "And they're asking for our help." Samira nodded, a determined glint in her eye. "Set a course, Commander Wei. It's time to show the galaxy what humanity can really do." As the Zephyr's engines hummed to life, preparing to bend space and time to their will, Samira couldn't help but feel a sense of vindication. The Concordat had laughed at them, dismissed them as primitive. Now, humanity stood poised to become the saviors of the very civilization that had mocked them. The next chapter of human history was about to be written among the stars, and Samira Patil intended to make it a story the galaxy would never forget. Cosmic threat. The Zephyr dropped out of interdimensional space with a silent flash, materializing in orbit around Nexus Prime, the Concordat colony that had sent out the distress call. Admiral Samira Patel's eyes widened as she took in the scene before her. A massive swirling vortex of energy dominated the view, its chaotic tendrils reaching out towards the planet below. The colony's orbital defenses, impressive by any standard, seemed pitiful against the cosmic maelstrom that threatened to engulf them. "Status report," Samira barked, her voice cutting through the tense silence on the bridge. Commander Chen Wei's fingers danced across his console. "The anomaly is unlike anything we've encountered, Admiral. It's emitting radiation across the entire electromagnetic spectrum, and our sensors are detecting severe space-time distortions." Dr. Elias Abramson, who had insisted on joining this mission, leaned forward, his eyes gleaming with a mix of scientific curiosity and concern. "It's not just an anomaly," he said, His voice hushed. It's a tear in the fabric of reality itself. Before Samira could respond, a communication request chimed. The view screen flickered to life, revealing the face of Governor Zexel, his scales a pale, sickly color that betrayed his fear. "Admiral Patel," he said, his usual arrogance replaced by desperation. "Thank the cosmic threads you're here. Our weapons are useless against this thing. It's already consumed 2 of our outer colonies. If it reaches Nexus Prime." Samira nodded grimly. "We understand the gravity of the situation, Governor. We'll do everything in our power to help." "What? Can you tell us about the anomaly's origin?" Zexel's mandibles clicked in agitation. "It appeared without warning 3 solar cycles ago. Our scientists believe it may be connected to recent experiments in dimensional folding technology, but—" He was cut off as alarms blared across both ships. The vortex pulsed, a wave of energy washing over them. The Zephyr shuddered, its advanced shielding barely holding. "Admiral," Chen called out, his voice tense, "the anomaly is expanding exponentially. At this rate, it'll engulf the entire system within hours." Samira's mind raced. They had come expecting to showcase humanity's new capabilities, to play the role of saviors. But this was beyond anything they had prepared for. "Dr. Abramson," she said, turning to the scientist, "you said this is a tear in reality. Can we use the Infinity Matrix to seal it?" Elias ran a hand through his hair, his eyes darting between the view screen and his datapad. "Theoretically, yes. But the energy requirements would be enormous. We'd need to channel the output of a star to generate a dimensional field strong enough to close that rift. A star's worth of energy." The word hung in the air, the impossibility of the task seeming to crush the hope out of the room. Then, Dr. Aisha Okafor spoke up, her voice quiet but firm. "What if we had help?" All eyes turned to her. Aisha met Samira's gaze, a plan already forming. "Admiral, we've proven our worth to the Concordat, but this threat is bigger than any one species. What if we called for aid, united the galaxy against this common enemy?" For a moment, Samira hesitated. Revealing the full extent of Earth's technology to their former tormentors had been one thing, but to share it with the entire galactic community. The risks were enormous. But as another pulse from the vortex rocked the ship, she realized they had no choice. This was no longer about proving humanity's worth or settling old scores. The fate of the galaxy itself hung in the balance. "Do it," she commanded. What followed was a flurry of activity unlike anything the galaxy had ever seen. As Aisha coordinated with Governor Zexel to send out a call for aid, Elias and his team worked feverishly to adapt the Infinity Matrix for this unprecedented task. Ships began arriving from across the galaxy. Massive Gathuri warships, sleek Zexil science vessels, even the mysterious organic craft of the reclusive Niv Collective. Each brought with them unique technologies and perspectives, all united by a common purpose. Under Samira's leadership, a plan took shape. The combined fleet would form a massive array around the anomaly, each ship equipped with a specially tuned version of the Infinity Matrix. Together, they would generate a dimensional field to contain and ultimately close the rift. As the final preparations were made, Samira stood on the bridge of the Zephyr, surveying the armada they had assembled. Ships of 100 different designs hung in space, representing civilizations that had been at odds for millennia. And at the center of it all was humanity's vessel, coordinating the effort. "Admiral," Chen said softly, "it's time." Samira nodded, taking a deep breath. She opened a channel to the entire fleet, her voice steady as she addressed beings from across the cosmos. "To all ships, this is Admiral Samira Patel of Earth. What we attempt today will determine the fate not just of Nexus Prime, but of our entire galaxy. Together, we stand against the darkness. Together, we will prevail." A chorus of affirmations echoed across the comm channels, a symphony of alien voices united in common purpose. "Activate the Infinity Matrix," Samira commanded. As one, the ships of the Armada lit up with otherworldly energy. Beams of pure dimensional force lanced out, converging on the swirling vortex. For a moment, nothing seemed to happen. Then, slowly at first, but with increasing speed, the anomaly began to shrink. The ships groaned under the strain, their hulls creaking as they channeled energies they were never designed to contain. On the Zephyr's bridge, warnings blared as systems overloaded. "Hull integrity at 47% and falling," reported Chen, his voice tight with tension. "Hold steady," Samira commanded, her knuckles white, as she gripped her chair. "We're almost there." The vortex fought back, tendrils of chaos lashing out of the ships. Two Cathari cruisers exploded in silent bursts of light, their crews' sacrifices adding to the energy being poured into the effort. Just when it seemed they could give no more, when the combined will of a galaxy pushed to its very limit, the anomaly collapsed, in on itself with a reality-shaking implosion. A shockwave of energy radiated outward, buffeting the surviving ships. As the sensors cleared and the dust settled, a ragged cheer went up across the fleet. Where once there had been a system-destroying vortex, now there was only empty space. The bridge of the Zephyr erupted in celebration, crew members embracing each other in joy and relief. But Samira's eyes were fixed on the view screen, where ships from across the galaxy hung in space together, united in victory. Governor Zegsippel's face appeared on the screen, his scales shimmering with an emotion Samira couldn't quite identify. "Admiral Patel," he said, his voice solemn, "on behalf of the Concordat and all the peoples of this galaxy, I thank you. We judged your species too hastily, and you have proven us wrong in the most magnificent way possible." Samira nodded, a tired smile on her face. "Thank you, Governor, but this victory belongs to all of us. Together, we've proven that the galaxy is stronger when we stand united." As the adrenaline of battle faded, Samira found her mind racing with the implications of what they had just achieved. Humanity had not only proven its worth, but had played a pivotal role in uniting the galaxy against a common threat. The cosmic threat had been averted, but Samira knew that this was only the beginning. The galaxy had changed forever, and humanity's place in it had been irrevocably altered. Whatever challenges lay ahead, they would face them together, as equals among the stars. As the Zephyr prepared to lead the fleet back to Nexus Prime for much-needed repairs and a well-deserved celebration, Samira couldn't help but feel a sense of pride. They had come so far from that first humiliating encounter with the Concordat. Now the galaxy looked to humanity not with disdain, but with respect and gratitude. The next chapter of galactic history was about to be written, and humanity would be holding the pen. New era. The Grand Assembly Hall of the newly christened Galactic Union buzzed with activity. Representatives from hundreds of species filled the chamber, their diverse forms a testament to the rich tapestry of life that populated the cosmos. At the center of it all stood Admiral Samira Patel, now serving as Earth's primary delegate to this unprecedented gathering. 5 years had passed since the Battle of Nexus Prime, where humanity had led a united galactic fleet to seal a devastating tear in the fabric of reality. In the aftermath of that crisis, the old order of the galaxy had crumbled, making way for a new era of cooperation and shared progress. Samira took a deep breath, steeling herself for the speech she was about to give. She caught the eye of Dr. Aisha Okafor, now the Union's chief diplomat, who gave her an encouraging nod. As Samira stepped up to the podium, a hush fell over the assembly. The translator drones hovering above the delegates hummed to life, ready to convey her words in dozens of languages. "Esteemed representatives of the Galactic Union," Samira began, her voice clear and strong. 5 years ago, we faced a threat that could have torn our galaxy apart, not just in the literal sense, with the reality tear that threatened to consume entire systems, but in a deeper, more fundamental way. We stood on the brink of division, mistrust, and conflict. She paused, her gaze sweeping across the chamber. Instead, we chose unity. We chose to set aside our differences and work together. And in doing so, we discovered a truth that had eluded us for too long. We are stronger together than we ever could be apart. Murmurs of agreement rippled through the crowd. Samira continued, her voice gaining passion. In the years since, we've seen unprecedented advancements in science, technology, and cultural exchange. The Infinity Matrix, once jealously guarded by Earth, has been freely shared and improved upon by minds from across the galaxy. The Vitheri energy conversion systems, combined with Zil quantum computing, have solved resource scarcity on 100 worlds. The medical knowledge of the Niv Collective has extended lifespans and cured diseases once thought unstoppable. She gestured to the holographic displays floating above the assembly, showcasing images of these achievements. New worlds terraformed and settled, massive engineering projects reshaping entire star systems, ships exploring the farthest reaches of the galaxy. But our greatest achievement, Samira said, her voice softening, has been in learning to understand one another, to see past our differences and recognize the common spirit that unites all sapient life. We've learned that diversity is not a weakness to be feared, but a strength to be celebrated. Her eyes found Governor Zexel, now the Concordat's representative to the Union. The once arrogant alien nodded respectfully, a gesture that would have been unthinkable just a few years ago. Today, we stand at a crossroads, Samira continued. The immediate threat has passed, but we face new challenges. The power we now wield, our ability to reshape reality itself, comes with grave responsibilities. We must decide how to use this power wisely, for the benefit of all. She leaned forward, her voice taking on a note of urgency. I propose that we establish a galactic exploration initiative. Let us turn our united strength towards unlocking the mysteries of the universe. There are still vast regions of our galaxy unexplored, and entire other galaxies waiting to be discovered. Who knows what wonders or dangers we might find? The chamber erupted in excited discussion. The idea captured the imagination of the assembled delegates, representing a common goal that could unite their diverse species in a shared spirit of discovery. As the debate continued, shaping the future of galactic civilization, Samira stepped back from the podium. She was joined by Dr. Elias Abramson, his hair now more gray than black, but his eyes still sparkling with the same curiosity that had driven him to unlock the secrets of the universe. "You've done it, Samira," he said quietly. "You've given them a vision of the future that they can all believe in." Samira shook her head, smiling. "We've done it, Elias. All of us. From that first humiliating encounter with the Concordat to now, we've come so far." Their conversation was interrupted by a young aide, her eyes wide with excitement. "Admiral Patel, Dr. Abramson," she said breathlessly. "The long-range sensors have picked up something. It's a signal from Andromeda." Samira and Elias exchanged looks of wonder. The nearest major galaxy, Andromeda, had long been theorized to harbor life, but no concrete evidence had ever been found. Until now. As news of the discovery spread through the chamber, Samira felt a familiar thrill run through her. The same feeling she had experienced on the bridge of the Nebula Voyager, when humanity had first ventured into the stars. The feeling of standing on the brink of the unknown, ready to leap into a new adventure. The assembly hall buzzed with renewed energy. Talk of the Galactic Exploration Initiative took on a new urgency. Eyes turned to Samira and the other human delegates, recognizing the spirit of exploration and discovery that had propelled humanity from a dismissible species to a leader in galactic affairs. As plans were made and proposals drafted, Samira found a quiet moment to stand by one of the vast windows overlooking the space around the Galactic Union headquarters. Ships of all shapes and sizes moved in a celestial dance, their designs representing the pinnacle of 100 different engineering philosophies. She thought back to that first encounter with the Concordat, how they had laughed at humanity's primitive technology and dismissed them as barely worthy of notice. Now, human ships flew alongside the best the galaxy had to offer, often leading the way in new innovations. A familiar voice interrupted her reverie. "Quite a few, isn't it?" Governor Texel said, moving to stand beside her. Samira nodded, studying the Concordat representative's reflection in the window. "It certainly is." Texel's mandibles clicked softly, a gesture Samira had learned to recognize as contemplative. "I owe you an apology, Admiral Patel. I judged your species harshly and unfairly. You have proven us wrong in ways we could never have imagined." Samira turned to face him, a small smile on her lips. "There's no need to apologize, Governor. In a way, your dismissal of us was the spark that ignited our determination. We might not be here today if you had welcomed us with open arms." Textel's scales shimmered with amusement. Perhaps the universe has a sense of irony after all. He gestured towards the assembly hall, where excited discussions about the Andromeda signal continued. "Your proposal, it's ambitious, dangerous even, but it captures the imagination. It gives us all a common purpose." "That's the idea," Samira replied. "We're stronger together, united in the face of the unknown." As they stood there, a human and a Concordat, former adversaries now allies, Samira felt a profound sense of hope for the future. The galaxy had changed, and humanity had been at the heart of that change. Whatever wonders or challenges Andromeda might hold, whatever other discoveries awaited in the vast cosmos, they would face them together. The stars stretched out before them, infinite in their promise. And humanity, once laughed at and dismissed, now stood ready to lead the charge into that bright, unknown future. Not as conquerors or superiors, but as part of a united galactic community, bound together by a shared spirit of discovery and mutual respect. As Samira turned back to rejoin the assembly, ready to help shape the next great chapter in galactic history, she couldn't help but smile. They had come so far, and the greatest adventures were still to come. The universe awaited, and humanity, alongside their galactic allies, was ready to answer its call.